Stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths. Ask where the good way is, and walk in it.
Welcome to Crossroads Magazine. I'm Father John Gatzak.
And I'm Allison Demers, filling in for Anne-Marie Montero. We're at the Mattituck Museum in Waterbury, which houses treasured artworks by American masters who've been associated with the Waterbury area and all of Connecticut.
Now, this history exhibit is named Brass Roots because it depicts what industrial life was like here in the brass city of Waterbury. It's an impressive exhibit of 19th century machines used in Waterbury's brass mills. Now, visitors who come to the Mattituck Museum learn about how our political leaders and workers transformed this community from a small Puritan village into one of the nation's leading centers of the brass industry.
You know, Father, just as the Mattituck Museum recalls some of the special events that took place in Waterbury throughout history, we had two special events that took place in our country just over a week ago. The pro-life march on Washington, immediately followed by the Pope's visit to St. Louis.
Yes, Allison, you're right. And this year's March for Life was attended by thousands of young people from grammar and high school age right on up through college age who came from all across the nation to show their support for life and to protest ending young lives through abortion.
In St. Louis, just days later, Pope John Paul II greeted thousands of America's youth, voicing his concern over our laws, which allow doctors to end lives rather than save them.
So Crossroads reporter Connie Brzezinski met some young people from all over the country who shared their views on saving lives rather than ending them.
You are ready for what Christ wants of you now. He wants you, all of you, to be light to the world as only young people can be light. It is time to let your light shine.
They came to let their light shine and make their voices heard.
We thought that it was important to stand up for human life because in our culture it's so severely under attack, I think, at all forms. But it's just so blatant, I think, with abortion. And that's such a easy thing to stand up for in our culture, to stand up for life with respect to abortion. So that's why we came here.
They came to do Christ's will.
I have just been in Mexico City to celebrate the conclusion of the Synod of Bishops for America. There, I had the joy of being with many thousands of young people.
It's important because I believe in God. I believe in the children. I believe the young girls is wrong.
While Pope John Paul II was in Mexico, Miguel was in America to join the March for Life with thousands of young people from the United States. The Pope then came to encourage America's youth.
To give yourselves without reservation to the Lord and to the work that He calls you to do.
We just want to let everyone know that we are pro-life and we're going to stand up for what we believe. We're marching on Washington for the sake of the unborn because they can't defend themselves.
I think it's worth it because people have to know that there are people who are pro-life out there, and this is just our way of standing up for what we believe in.
At the youth rally in St. Louis that followed the March on Washington, the Holy Father expressed his concern over our laws which allow doctors to end the lives of the very people they are sworn to help.
I'm here memorializing the tragic decision of Roe v. Wade. I myself am a child of rape and an abortion survivor. My birth mother was raped at knife point by a serial rapist, and that's how I was conceived. And the law was changed in Michigan a month after I was born, making exceptions for rape and incest. And the trial date in Roe v. Wade was on my first birth date. The decision was exactly 3.5 years from my birth date. So today is my 29.5-year birth date. And when I met her when I was 19, she told me absolutely she would have aborted me if it had been legal. And I would not be here today if it weren't for people who were my advocates, and they were my heroes.
Countless young people have made the fight for life their mission.
It's important to me because when you just take it into your own hands to kill someone, even though they're not born yet, it's still wrong and it's still murder. And like all these people on the news, like these girls are getting in trouble for killing the babies after they came out. Well, what if they'd done it like 10 minutes earlier? They wouldn't be in trouble. And that's just wrong.
I think my parents and probably I think that abortion is wrong. It just goes against our law of taking somebody's life.
Young people continue to follow the Pope and pray with him to end abortion.
But I think that prayer at my house or anywhere is really the most important way to do it. I mean, it doesn't matter where you pray, as long as you do pray to get it done.
Because it's showing that you don't want people like your babies.
Remember, Christ is calling you. The church needs you. The Pope believes in you. And he expects great things of you.
This is Connie Brzezinski reporting for Crossroads magazine.
Even before the Holy Father encouraged them to be the light of the world, thousands of America's young people were already letting their light shine, making their voices heard against abortion.
And in his address at the youth rally in St. Louis, the Pope told the young people that he expected great things of them. They certainly lived up to his expectations through their commitment to the most important cause of all, life itself.
And coming up next, we'll show you how the burden of coping with cancer is being lightened in one of Connecticut's hospitals.
William, the little boy born 3 months premature, is still struggling. For Kathy Diaz, it's been difficult. She knows William is in good hands, and the neonatal intensive care unit he's in is the most advanced of its kind. But it wasn't just William Kathy was thinking about today. It was William's mother, and that's why Nurse Kathy Diaz came to the hospital on her day off.
The John M. Gibbons Pavilion for Women, one of the centers of excellence that make up St. Francis Care.
Millions of Americans are living with cancer and must make major adjustments in their lives. That includes getting chemotherapy several times a week. One hospital in Connecticut has tried to make it a little easier for patients and their families.
Crossroads reporter Stephanie Velikis brings us this story.
What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. I'm laughing at clouds so dark up above. The sun's in my heart.
Katie Batter isn't performing at a coffee shop or restaurant. This is actually a hospital, the Father Michael J. McGivney Center for Cancer Care at the Hospital of St. Raphael. This is where a lot of the waiting takes place for patients and their families.
I find it very soothing, especially if the music is the type I like, and occupies my mind. And because I'm sitting here, and if you just sit and you're thinking, so it keeps you occupied. It helps out a lot.
It's called Lyrical Moments.
Music is kind of a common thread that brings people together, and I think, you know, if you talk to just about anybody, people will tell you that they have a favorite song or something that kind of takes them out of a place that they're in, particularly if they're in a very uncomfortable place in their life, which, you know, going through cancer is a very difficult place to be. And I think by bringing something comforting and enjoyable and giving them an opportunity maybe to remember some really fun times in their life through music.
I think it's a wonderful thing. I mean, the doctors do a terrific job, but where they end off, music therapy can pick up and help people so much more. So, and it's an ongoing process that people hear music, they relate to it, everyone enjoys some type of music, and if you can key into that, it can just spark them and get them talking or bring them out of their doldrums, which is what I try and do here.
Kathy's job as a music teacher, and her own children for that matter, keep her very busy, but she always makes time to play for staff and families of the Cancer Center.
I'm hoping it's a calming influence, whatever's been going on in their day. Whatever they're here for could, induce a lot of stress, and I just want to take that away from them for a little while. So, I play a lot of classical, but also some pop stuff too, and just try and keep it very mellow for them.
Remember Ruth? Her cancer was diagnosed in November, but she'd been volunteering here with her husband for 2 years before that. Little did she know she'd be on the other side.
The surrounding, you can't beat it. It's very, very warm. They make you very much at home. Of course, I was at home because it was my home before then, but anybody who comes in really is made at home. Relax, talk with them, just make them feel at ease.
I like to make people happy, and music is what I do, and this is a nice place to come and make people smile, and it takes their mind off whatever's going on.
Another way the hospital maintains their holistic approach to treating cancer patients is with their Looking Forward program.
That program brings a couple of different services. It brings a headline service, which helps people with hair loss and fashioning turbans and hats and wigs, and they also provide makeovers, and it's just been an incredible success and a program where we've gotten so much positive feedback, and we know that it's definitely made a difference in a lot of people's lives.
Find him round my door. I've got starlight. I've got.
And St. Raphael's hopes it helps many more patients. Both the Looking Forward program and Lyrical Moments reach beyond the clinical. And sometimes that's the difference. In New Haven, reporting for Crossroads magazine, I'm Stephanie Valikis.
The Lyrical Moments program has been very successful, and St. Raphael's is looking to expand the program into other areas of the hospital.
But first, they need more volunteers. Volunteering is one of the most selfless gifts that you can give to someone to whom life is a gift in and of itself.
Next, we'll meet a priest who gives us the uplifting gift of inspiration.
Light Moments. Here's Father Tom McSweeney.
Parenting requires the wisdom of Solomon and the patience of Job. And here's a few commandments that can make this difficult job a little easier. The first is, thou shalt never damage thy children's self-esteem. A healthy self-image is essential to a child's physical and spiritual growth. Second, be neither under-involved or over-involved in thy children's lives. Strike a solid balance between holding on to your children and letting them go. Third, thou shalt listen to thy children. If you allow your children to express their feelings, they'll return the favor and listen to yours. Finally, thou shalt not preach a double standard. What is not acceptable for your children is not acceptable for you either.
This message from the Christophers, New York, New York 10017.
You've got a million things on your to-do list, and no sooner do you get them done than you've got to turn around and do them again. You start to feel like you're chasing your tail. Wouldn't it be great if you could do something that you knew was making a difference? A visit from you can make a hospital ward a brighter place, bring a comforting touch to others, and touch you in the process. A little time makes a big difference. A message from the Catholic Communication Campaign.
He's known as the double thumbs up priest, a man who says, hang in there, keep plugging, and do the best you can.
Crossroads reporter Lisa Longo recently talked to Father John Cockayne about facing challenges and turning them into opportunities.
For the past couple of years, Father John Cockayne has been a parish priest at St. Thomas Parish in Thomaston. At 46 years old, Father knows a great deal about being challenged. He was born with a mild case of cerebral palsy.
Basically, it affects my right side of my body with spasticity and a slowness of speech.
He's literally spent hours in physical and speech therapy sessions. Even though it's been hard at times, he views his disability in a positive light.
It's an opportunity because it gives me a greater sensitivity and awareness of the needs and issues of other people as far as suffering and health and so on. It gives me I can empathize with people with issues dealing with illness and disability and so forth.
Father grew up in Southington with his parents and younger sister. Growing up, he says he was quite clumsy and awkward in some ways.
I had to overcompensate for that, because occasionally a wise youngster would trip me or do this or that to challenge me even more than I needed to be challenged.
Father attended Cheshire Academy and then Eisenhower College, where he received a bachelor's degree in political science. After graduation, he returned to Southington.
I worked in a sheltered workshop, and then for about 2.5 years, and then I became the first director of a program in Southington called HUG, Help Us Grow Incorporated. And there we had we ran a bookstore and a few things, alternative training opportunities for persons with disabilities, and tried to get them as mainstreamed as possible into real work situations.
During this time, Father Cocaine was very involved in politics and the community.
I was active in the library board in Southington and the YMCA, and also politically I was active on the Democratic Town Committee.
The Holy Father's visit to the United States in the fall of 1979 changed Father's life forever.
Where he started to talk about the gospel, the good news, and how that could bring the compassion and the reconciliation and the healing and forgiveness of Jesus into the world more.
Father's prayer life was increasing, and he knew something inside him was changing, so he called the Archdiocese of Hartford.
They gave me Father Jim Smith's name, who was the vocation director at that time, and I called him that day, and we met within a couple days. The first seminary I had gone for interviews and so forth. When we got done with the process, I think my disability did play a role, because there was something talked about called the parking lot syndrome. Because of my speech and so forth, they thought I would be slower than the average priest and would cause problems that way.
Naturally, Father was devastated by the rejection, but he went on to attend Christ the King Seminary in New York, where he says he spent 4 wonderful years.
Some of the things they helped me with was because of my writing and so forth, they let me take a lot of my tests orally and dictate papers to people to get it into form and so forth, and they were extremely accommodating.
Father was ordained at the Cathedral of St. Joseph on February 9th, 1985. It's a day he remembers vividly.
The most profound thing I remember is just being prostrated on the floor of the altar of St. Joseph's Cathedral and hearing the litany of saints and the prayers and that type of thing.
From 1992 to 1998, Father served on the board for the National Catholic Office for Persons with Disabilities. He was honored for his work by the Diocese of Springfield, Massachusetts. He says there's a lot parishes can do for people with disabilities.
Look at how accessibility issues and also how you can utilize them as readers and lectors and Eucharistic ministers, and also there's all kinds of possibilities.
Aside from his national work, Father also volunteers locally.
Working with the police, the fire, and the ambulance or EMS people, both on location at critical incident scenes or being available for counseling.
Father was also one of the first priests to participate in the live television Mass, something he continues to do to this day. His energy is astounding. Whatever he does, he embraces it with full dedication. It's no wonder he's known as the double thumbs up priest.
Knowing that there will be times when you're challenged and you're frustrated and you're down in the dumps and so forth, but just to try to see yourselves as a light that can make a difference and will make a difference. And everyone has a mission and has a purpose in this world, and just to utilize it.
Father is a true inspiration. He's such a warm and compassionate person, and you quickly realize when you speak to him that you can really accomplish anything once you put your mind to it. In Thomaston, I'm Lisa Longo, reporting for Crossroads Magazine.
Father urges people to look at the word disabled. He says that if you cross out the D, you have is abled. Father knows everyone has their own gifts and their own limitations, and that we have to motivate each person to meet their own potential.
As a society, we must remember that all people are created in the image and likeness of God. Father Cockayne says we are people before we are disabled.
Now let's check out what's happening in the Crossroads around Connecticut. The annual Morehouse Lecture, Developments Toward a New Christology, will be held on Tuesday, February 9th at 4 p.m. at St. Thomas More, the Catholic Chapel and Center at Yale University. Admission is free, and the public is invited to attend this provocative and enlightening lecture on the exciting and emerging trends that continue to shape the foundation of Christian thought. For more information on the lecture, call St. Thomas More Chapel at Yale University at 203-777-5537.
Art and Science in Partnership, a slide and lecture presentation, will be given on Tuesday, February 9th at 8 p.m. in Mercy Hall on the campus of St. Joseph College, West Hartford. The presentation is being offered by the Department of Fine Arts and Performing Arts. For more information, call the College Relations Office at St. Joseph College at 860-232-4571, extension 248.
The senior class of the Hart School Dance Division will present an evening of new dance works choreographed and directed by students on February 12th and 13th at 7 in the evening. Performances are at the Millard Auditorium at the Hart School on the University of Hartford campus and are free of charge and open to the public. For more information on the dance performance, call 860-525-9396.
The Altar Society at St. Mary Parish of Union City will hold a pancake breakfast on Sunday, February 14th from 8 a.m. until noon at the church. The pancake breakfast is $3 per person. Children 5 and under are free.
If you would like more information on any of these events, call the Office of Radio and Television at 860-246-7295.
We would like to help you publicize your event. We invite you to send your information to Crossroads Around Connecticut, Office of Radio and Television, Post Office Box 717, Hartford, Connecticut 06142 0717.
I'm Colin Ray. Within the next 30 seconds, at least 3 children will be physically or sexually abused. We must stop this national tragedy that robs our children of their innocence, their dignity, and often their lives. If you or someone you know are being abused, call Child Help USA National Child Abuse Hotline at 1-800-4A-CHILD. Call is free and confidential 24 hours a day. 1-800-4A-CHILD. You can stop child abuse.
Here in Waterbury, as in some other areas, there is a high number of Spanish-speaking members of many of the city's parishes. Recently, churches have done more to attract and support local Latinos.
Crossroads reporter Todd Moskowitz explored a church that has grown a great deal just by adding a little bit.
Meet Sisters Irene Santiago and Laura DeLone. They came from Puerto Rico and now live in Meriden, Connecticut, and they brought their language with them. English may not be their forte, but that is not why the St. Rose of Lima Church in Meriden needs them. The sisters are utilized when English-speaking members of the ministry are not able to help those with a certain need.
We are for the people. The most important thing is time to listen to them, spiritual counseling.
counseling to members of the parish that do not speak English.
They need people that speak Spanish so they can tell them their problems. You know, if they have problem, they want to talk with some priest, you know, but now if they have some problem, they call us.
In August, about 15% of the parish were Hispanic-speaking, including some members of the ministry. However, now that Sisters Irene and Laura are here, a new door is open to the community, and the numbers are showing it.
From the Sundays that I partook in their different liturgical ceremonies, I do see a rise in the attendance.
The sisters were assigned to a convent in Meriden together by the Dominican Sisters of Our Lady of Fatima, a group that runs 23 convents, 2 of which are in the United States, this one in Meriden and the other in Philadelphia. Through house visits, the sisters attempt to bring local Hispanics into the parish.
Hi! Hi!
Nancy Yvette Rios is a mother of 3. She was born in Meriden, Connecticut, and raised in Puerto Rico for 17 years. Now she is back in town, living with her husband and kids, who are members of St. Rose of Lima, thanks to the sisters.
They know our needs, basically, within the Spanish culture and whatnot. They can really address all the social and all kinds of different problems that the Latin people here in Meriden have.
What makes the sisters feel at home is when they know that they are comforting others.
Our work here is the social work, the religious social work. So they trust in us.
It's brought a wider spectrum of people to come and take a more serious look at what the culture is all about and what the church is all about and what we really do within the church.
The people are more open. I think they feel like more that they belong. They're just getting to a place where they belong because maybe they've found the people that they could go to, they could speak, and they feel that there's somebody understanding them.
In Meriden, Todd Moskowitz, Crossroads magazine.
Both sisters had previously spent time in the United States before going to St. Rose of Lima Parish, so they have adapted well in Meriden. They fill an invaluable need by ministering to the Spanish-speaking parishioners while enhancing the church's diversity.
And speaking of diversity, the Mattituck Museum's diversity in its art collections and exhibits will certainly surprise you and inform you when you come here for a visit. Now, thanks for being with us. Don't forget to join us again next week for more inspiring stories from around the crossroads of Connecticut. Well, what do you think? We have time for a little tour. Are you going to lead me on a tour?
I can't wait to show you the restaurant.
Let's go eat.